Hello, folks. It's your boy Jaime Tude back with episode 2, Vlog 2 for Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Hail to the king, baby. Now, just this past weekend, episode 2 aired, and I sat down and watched it with a friend. Hello, Morgan. And this one was called Bait. Well, oh, by the way, the last time you guys saw me in the video, I was taking a walk along the trail. Well, now I gotta do some laundry here, so I'm gonna be double tasking again. So I hope you don't mind. I gotta say, with uh, with what I've seen so far of this show, this is seriously the best thing that I think. We're 2 episodes in, and this is already, to me, the best thing that has happened to this franchise since the second movie. I mean, that is saying a lot right there. This whole series is just turning out to be uh, a cluster of things that you would want to see in another installment of Evil Dead, and it's delivering. My God, it is delivering. Now, the story to this one is um, Ash and his buddy from the new Kmart place that he works at, the new supermarket. They go to rescue his buddy's girlfriend. What happened in the previous episode was this girl's mom, who disappeared a year ago. They don't explain what happened to her. She comes back, and she looks completely normal. Now wait a minute, that's odd. Nobody just disappears and comes back a year later, right when Deadites are attacking, and they just seem completely normal. Well, that's where I give this episode a lot of credit right there. Um, I'm gonna try and be spoiler free on this one, but I might slip up just a little bit. I will say that. Um, they have they have Ash and his buddy going to the girlfriend's house, and what they see there is her dad's there. Okay, she's there. Okay, the mom's there, perfectly normal, looking at least, or is she? Now you sort of see what this episode is going for. Ash is pretty convinced that she's a Deadite. Everybody else is convinced that she's not, because, hey, she looks normal, she doesn't have the white eyes or anything. And so he's kind of treating her like dirt for uh, about half of the episode, or at least treating her with a very suspicious eye. And everybody else is being really, really nice, and that's where I think, even though you might be able to see where this is going already, it's it plays with your expectations a lot. The execution is very well done, and I'm getting my fill with this. I'm getting my fill of the excitement, the action, the campiness, the humor, the one-liners. I think Ash has more one-liners here than he ever did in the previous films combined. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, and he's he's had 20 years to come up with new material. So I guess he's just been waiting to spout these off, and my goodness, it works. It really does. So the overall arc, the overall story arc of the series seems to be that they're leading it towards trying to find someone who can translate the rest of the book and if see if there's a way to get rid of the evil spirits again. Now, if you all remember in the second film, that's exactly what they did. They they had the book already translated, and it just took someone who actually knew how to speak Kandarian to send them back into the past where it belongs. And so I'm sensing a tidbit of repetition, but also in the first episode, Ash is reading out of the book himself, while high off his ass, and I thought, well, wait, why do you need the rest of it translated? It's a minor nitpick there. Maybe they're going to explain further there what's exactly going on, but he's just speaking gobbledygook when he reads out of the book, and maybe he said something correctly, and maybe that's what brought the Deadites back. So, with this episode, though, I'm gonna say that while it was a great episode, I really enjoyed it. They're doing it. They're doing it again. They're being they're being repetitive. They're showing you things that that you've seen previously in the entire franchise as a whole, and this is a nice familiar touch, but also I kind of realize if every episode's going to be like this, if every episode's going to have something familiar, something that throws back to the previous films, and we're only in the first season here, mind you. We're going to be looking at another season after this one. So, how long until this train of repetition starts to become old? And that's the one thing that worries me about the series and how it's going on in the future, or how it will go on in the future. So I'll be here to report on that as well. And I do have some high hopes for the next episode. It looks like, according to the teaser, we're going to have Lucy Lawless in there. So some Xena action, yay! She can no longer detach herself from Sam Raimi, but that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. So, where does this, what is really left to talk about? Well, the how they did it special after the show. They did another one of those where they just show you 2 minutes worth of, this is our behind the scenes stuff. This is what we're doing. I think I noticed a few things. One, Sam Raimi's car, the Oldsmobile, and that was a car that it's kind of like the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story. You know, it shows up in every Pixar movie. Well, if you're supposedly, from what I've heard, you're supposed to be able to spot Sam Raimi's Oldsmobile car in every one of his movies, or at least most of them. So here we do have here we do have Ash driving an Oldsmobile, and it looks like the same one from the original Evil Dead movies, or maybe Sam Raimi just buys different Oldsmobiles. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. You know, maybe he likes this really certain model right there. So, um, yeah, according to the behind the scenes stuff, there was a snippet of that car, and I thought, well, maybe that is the car that we saw in the actual episode itself. And as for the how-to, on doing the episode, they they did show something that they did show something that's not too much of a spoiler. I will say this: there's an actress in the episode who ends up becoming a Deadite. I'm not saying who, but she ends up becoming a Deadite at one point, and she's crawling up the walls and going all over the place. And at one point, she turns around, and she's got the typical white eyes and the moldy face and all the creepy stuff. And you think at first maybe Sam Raimi could be doing what he did with the previous films, or even last episode, where he's got what he calls a fake shemp, or a double actor in there playing this role. Well, in this case, it could be a stunt double, because in the last episode, it was pretty much a given. There was this one character who was a granny who, the moment you can tell she's 70-something years old, looks a little bit crazy to begin with, so not much really changes when she becomes possessed. And when she becomes possessed, she's sprinting like an Olympian. She's bouncing off the walls and everything. And you can tell that's not a 70-year-old woman. That's from behind. That's got to be someone much younger, in their 20s, doing this stuff, because they'd never be able to do that. Well, it turns out in this episode 2, the middle-aged actress who gets possessed, she's not having a stunt double for this. She actually does her own crawling up the wall bit, and I'm actually kind of impressed by that. You know, she must be she's in her 50s, and she said, I guess she's in her 50s, or maybe really early 60s, you know. As she says in the interview, you know, I wanted to do this because I work out every day and whatnot. And, well, it shows, but I'm not sure about how they did certain things. Like, they must have a rotating room to make her look like she's positioned on the wall. But there were definitely some close-up moments in there where everything was right side up, and she was climbing around the place, and that was definitely her, because you look at the behind the scenes, everyone's on the floor, so it couldn't be a rotating room. I'm curious about how they did that. Did they have somebody lift up the bottom half of her body, and then they just shoot the top half as she's sprawled out on the wall like this, like, you know? Maybe that's what they did. So I look forward to the future episodes of this series, and I will be continuing this video log again. If you guys like hearing these, please leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up down below, whatever you do, and I'll be glad to keep making more of them. Also, just for funsies, if you have any ideas about where I should do my next podcast, my next video log from, If you'd like me to do something silly in the next video log, let me know. Because, you know, first time I did this, I was on a bike ride, on a bike trail. Well, not actually riding the bike, but walking it. Tonight, I'm doing laundry, just because I have the time to do that, as well as do this. So if you have any ideas for the future episodes, I'm all game. Just let me know, and I'll keep you guys informed. Anyway, that's all for now. Ciao for now, y'all.